Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to complete the finishing process on this guitar. Well, we've got our tinted tung oil finish on the back here and our gloss urethane finish on the front. Several coats of the oil on the back of the guitar, just 2 light ones on the neck to make it nice and smooth and on the back of the headstock. So now we're getting into the optional steps. What I'm going to do to add a little bit more protection to this and really seal this all in is I'm going to use some of Bellen's Blue Label paste wax. And I like the feel of a wax finish personally. A lot of people don't, but I'm quite fond of it. I use it on a few of my guitars actually, sometimes on the finish, sometimes as the finish. So I'm going to do a quick coat of that on the back of the guitar. I'm going to leave the neck alone. It's perfect the way it is. And I'm going to throw a little bit of this on the back of the headstock as well, just to kind of seal this in and give it a different feel. I don't really love the raw oil finish necessarily. So that's the next step. This of course is optional. You could get away with doing the entire guitar in tung oil if that's what you prefer. I've used a few different products on mine. And that's about it. What I'm going to do here is use a little bit of heat to warm up the back of the guitar and warm up the cloth that I'm going to be using to apply the oil. Definitely an optional step, or not oil, wax. Definitely an optional step, something that I find helps it absorb and go on a little bit smoother and easier. But bearing in mind, the wax container specifically says don't apply heat, don't introduce heat. It's a safety thing. So if you're going to use heat, be very careful. And yeah, this thing says don't do it. It also says to use a respirator and gloves. I'm going to use a glove. I'm in a huge room. If the smell becomes an issue for me, I will also put on a respirator. It is important to protect yourself, but I'm not going to put one on right now because I'm mildly hungover and I hate the feel of them. So I'm just going to not make a good choice there. But do as I say, not as I do. Make sure you protect yourself with a respirator. So let's get started on this coat. Now, as with all of the techniques and materials that I've been trying to stick to in this tutorial, this one is very straightforward to apply. In fact, it really doesn't get much easier than this. You don't actually need the heat gun, of course. I'm using it to just kind of make the wax flow ever so slightly better, but all I'm doing is heating up my rag, if you'll call it that, my shop towel, heating up the surface ever so slightly, and then rubbing some wax on there. And I'm going to build up a few coats kind of doing this. I don't even know if I'd call them coats, but I'm going to do a few applications of this wax just using this very simple technique, rubbing it on there in circular motions to really build up a nice protective layer, which is kind of what this wax is very good for, is protecting whatever's underneath. That tung oil isn't super durable. The wax adds this nice layer and you can see it kind of building a machine. Once I've got a few of those on, I'm going to let it just kind of sit for a few minutes and then I'm going to buff it off of there. After that, I go and apply a little bit more and I kind of go back and forth with that a couple times. So here you see me buffing off some of that first layer that I applied and now immediately moving into adding another layer, and you can see it's starting to go on with a little bit more of that wet look. That's part of what happens when you heat it. That will kind of go away as it cools down, but for now it's spreading on there really nice, just kind of like warmed up butter, if you will, and really easy, even to spread, and gives a nice protective layer. So that's going to go on like this. I'm going to finish off this layer of that, give it a few minutes. I'll show you some B-roll in between here so you can see kind of what it looks like even without the buffing, and then we buff off the excess, give it kind of that nice satiny sheen, and go from there. So that's about all I need to do for the back and sides to get the look and feel that I'm going for, and frankly this doesn't affect the look all that much, it's mostly just for the feel. Once you've got your last layer on there, again just wait a few minutes, let it kind of cool down if you heated it or harden up a little bit, and then go in just with your shop towel is plenty and buff it off like I'm doing right now. That'll just even it up a little bit, give it slightly more shine, and make sure that you've got everything ready to go. Nothing left to worry about with the back and sides here. She's all done for that part. And you can see that nice even look that we get from this. So now it is time to move on to the front. So the front's got that rock hard tabletop varnish on it, brushed on, of course still a Bellen product and one of my favorites that isn't a spray for that matter. The issue here is it's not super even because this spalted maple, as one would predict, has a lot of porosity to it. But not just a lot of porosity, it has kind of a variable porosity. There are some areas that are very porous and some that are notably less so. So what I'm doing here is polishing it up somewhat to a satin finish because that's what I've decided to go with on this. I'm starting with 1000 grit and kind of knocking down some of that difference, evening it out a little bit. It's not going to be completely even. We're not going for a mirror finish, or at least I'm not on this one. If I were, I would have gone with a sealer before any of this other stuff, or perhaps a grain filler. So in order to even it out, I've started with my 1000 grit paper, and now I'm moving up to a 3000 grit paper to kind of get rid of those scratches from the 1000 grit, make it easier to polish, and I'm just kind of getting it as smooth as I can. Now I'm not going crazy with this. I usually would go up to 5000 if I were doing a full gloss, which I'm not here. Let's keep in mind also that there are still going to be some low spots and whatnot in that spalted maple, so this isn't going to be a mirror shine or even the satin version of that. It's going to have a little bit more character, again, because I didn't fill or seal it to begin with. Now that I've got it up to that 3000 grit smooth, I'm going in and doing my polishing. As always with this series, I'm keeping it all by hand here so it's easy to emulate. And I'm using a product that I really like, actually, the Bellen's Buffers Polish. I've been using Bellen products pretty much throughout the entire build, so hey, why stop now? This one works quite well. It doesn't take a lot of the product to be able to do this, but it does take a fair bit of elbow grease. You can already see kind of at the top right there the reflection of that Buffers Polish bottle starting to appear when I put it down. No, it's gone again. Yeah, there it is. So you can see that starting to happen very quickly, but I am pushing quite hard and moving the pad quite fast in order to have this buff up relatively quickly. So it does take some elbow grease. Generally, I would use a polisher to do this. It would be much faster and much easier. But for a satin finish, you can achieve that fairly quickly without even having to resort to that. So here we have our satin finish. It looks, I think, just fantastic. It doesn't have that perfect feel to it. It doesn't have that kind of mirror finish look. You'll notice a couple of kind of what look to be dents from the very open grain that absorb more finish. Again, there are ways around that with filling and sealing, but personally I think this looks beautiful, accents this grain really nicely, and has some nice character to it. As always, if you want any of the products that I used in this, feel free to check them out in the description. The links are there. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can see how this guitar turns out, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.